Hi. Let's start chapter. Okay. Okay. So in this chapter, which is chapter 10, we'll talk about the e-commerce, the digital markets, and the digital goods. We'll be looking at what are the unique features of e-commerce, digital markets, and digital goods. What are the principle of e-commerce business and revenue models? How has the e-commerce transformed marketing? Also going to look at how has uh, e-commerce affected business to business transactions and what is the role of mobile commerce in the business? What are the most important m-commerce application? What issues must be addressed when building an e-commerce presence? And we're also going to look at one of the samples of B2B, which is Tijari.com, and maybe we're going to look at MVAS, Mobile Value Added Services, which is OG Money, which stands for One Global Money, as examples. So e-commerce today is the use of internet and the web to transact business. Digitally enabled transactions began, in 1995 when advertisement were allowed, and the e-commerce continues to grow since then. The personal e-commerce first try I did is when I think around 2000 or 1999, 1999. I was in charge of setting up a business for trading. They had a mill manufacturing, producing wheat in Dubai, Jabal Ali, and I was in charge of setting up the business. They just set up the manufacturing process setup. So I started getting the list of the businesses within the Jabal Ali, communicating with them. Eventually, we set up the two buyers who were exporting to East Africa. So they were buying all our production, luckily, which is that time the owner was surprised. This is not the right way of setting up the suppliers because he thought that I would go and talk to people face to face or something. So they end up coming into the manufacturing to manufacture and start doing the business with us. And they said, we will buy all your production. So I was very happy. Anyway, the e-commerce started from, as we said, 1995. So I guess I'm one of the few pioneers in that time and went on up to now is around $600 billion in the B2C. What I did is a B2B. This is a B2C, the growth of e-commerce. So the retail e-commerce revenue grew 15 to 25% per year until a recession of 2008, 2009, when they slowed, but then it took off again. So the e-commerce today, the situation with it is pretty much in a good shape, and the online consumer, Canadian consumer sales grow to estimated of 15 billion plus in 2012, more than 2.4 billion people globally are now connected to the internet. 97% of the Canadian in the top have access to the internet at their home, and but that number drops to 54% for those who are at the bottom. Basically, my habit is to get the internet in the house before anything else, before even thinking of moving in. Uh, Plan for the moving in, actually. In a few years, the mobile phone will be the most common internet access device. Currently, more than half of the all mobile phones users access the internet using their phone. So the growth is of the e-commerce is about business transformation. There was a huge business transformation. You can look at them, read them, and understand them about the technology foundation needed, the good technology foundations like good wireless internet, Wi-Fi, WiMAX, 3G, 4G smartphones, and it's grow rapidly. And about a new business models emerge from this technology and this transformation of businesses. The e-commerce technology dimension, it's when you see that the internet or web technology is available everywhere now, at work, at home, and elsewhere via desktop and mobile devices, extended services to the local areas and merchant, coffee shops, anybody who, airport, the internet is there. Then it has also global reach. The technology reaches, across the national boundaries around the earth, and all they have some kind of a business significant to it. It becomes a universal standard. There is one set of the technology standards, namely the internet standard, so everybody use the same thing. Um, the internet has some richness and speed. The richness comes in from video, audio, text message, all possible, a mix of them. Interactively, you can interact on the spot. The technology works through the interaction with the user. Information density, lots of information. The technology reduced the information cost. There is so much information at the lowest price. Um, Issues that could had a huge business significance is the personalization, customization. The technology allows the personal information, personalized messages comes in and go. And one of other thing, the social technology, which is the technology support the content generation and social networking, was a huge effect on the business shifting on the internet and affecting, and business has been changed forever from the old style. Now, the key concept of e-commerce in general basically is about the digital market and the digital goods in the global marketplace. It has information asymmetry, lower menu cost. They have a dynamic pricing. Price keep changing, adjusting. Uh, this intermediation, there is less middleman, middle person, and it's a digital goods. So in the old days, you had the manufacturer, you had the distributor, you had the retailer, and then the customer comes in. Now the manufacturer, retailer to the customer, and now straight from the manufacturer to the customer, and that have reduced the cost on the customer significantly, where he can now purchase more at the same amount of budget. So that's the benefit of this intermediate to the customer, consumers or customers. There is less middleman, and their information moves straight from manufacturer to consumer these days. So what happens here is basically you about just clicking things around when you're clicking things is like a use the shopper clicks on the home page and the store can tell the shopper arrived. And when they arrived at what time from Yahoo portal or from Chrome, and which might help determine the consumer service centers and how long this person stayed, what did he look at it, where did he leave after that, where did he stop and move, did he manage to buy something, was he interested in something, or just the technology couldn't help him to pick up things. So these are all things that it tracks when the consumer clicks on website. Very important. The timing, when did he come in, or how long he stayed, when did he leave, on which page he stayed longer, on which page he left the place. So all these things can help the marketeers to adjust their website, adjust their product, and set their business accordingly. So these are all things that is needed. Um, uh, what kind of a credit card? Did he use any credit card? Did he do the shopping cart page or not? Did he pay it when he wanted to pay? Did the payment went through? All these issues, they can see it by clicking, through the clicks. So there is a direct between users and website, and it's customized. Firm can create a unique, personalized web page that display the content or ad for a product. Try to send an email one time to your friend and have the word TV repeated 3 times, and let him send back an email with the word TV in it. You will get these ads for TVs definitely. I've tried to sit and start searching and stop in one place looking at, for example, furniture. You will get more ads about furniture, and the person who's sitting beside you in the same area, he will get also ads on this. So it is basically based on your profile of recent market trends. Here are some recommendations. That's what they do. So it's more personalized. Says, for example, you might get a message saying, "Welcome back. Check out this recommendation," and they give you the titles of books or whatever. Or somebody by name Sarah, here is the item you want to bid, things that you are interested in. So these are more website personalization, make you feel that they have, recognize you as a person, and they are trying to send you these emails. So that makes it interesting. But the most important thing, the types of the what do you call the type of e-commerce that is happening. What do we have? We have B2C, we have B2B, we have C2C. And it's a B2C. This is what you call the business to customers or consumers, and it's a retailing of the product and service direct to the individual customer. That's what you get into the chapters, or also you can get it into, Amazon also. Then what you have is called B2B, which is sales of goods and services for other businesses. Jim Connect, uh, Tijari.com that we can explain. And these are B2B, business to business. And then you have the consumer to consumer. Individual puts his stuff and somebody else will be buying. It's an individual using the web for a private sales or exchange, like the one we see KGG are the most, interesting one. So basically, there is something called double click, and when you double click .net, it follows you, finds where you are going, and what you are looking for. So the merchant side here, when the consumer requests a page from a network, is on the top. You double click it, it will be going to the consumer's merchant, and at the same time goes to information reach to the through the double click through user profile. So it gives you the both information, and then it gives the to the rest the information so they can offer you their services. One of the most famous double click is when you're looking at the cars, and then you will see lots of people will be lots of companies sending you SMS trying to sell you a car or finance you a car. Consumer request page from usually from a network member site. These are and usually they are advertising network, and their uses of tracking program have become controversial these days. And you know, so there is, some rules and regulations to slow down these double click uh, issues. Now, in the e-commerce revenue models, how they do their business, what's their revenue? The revenue comes in, could be from advertising, um, or they are selling product, or there is a subscription to subscribe into softwares or subscribe into some news or whatever. It could be a free minimum or a free. There is it could be a transaction fees like Tijari.com also gets some transaction, monthly transaction or fees or services, but OG Money takes up from transaction fees, or could be affiliated, like lots of people doing it on Amazon. So they have some suppliers and they try to sell to certain buyers. They are the middleman electronically between the suppliers and the consumers or the buyer. Now, this in the social networking and the wisdom of the cloud, most popular Web2 service, the social networking. And social networking site sells banner ads on the top, user preference information, and music videos and ebooks. Um, the social shopping site swap shopping idea with the friends, like Caboodle and Pinterest. Is basically when you're trying to advertise or market or sell your product, I strongly suggest understand the strategy of that site, what they're trying to do, what's their target, and how you can utilize it to your benefit. Who's their profile? Maybe there's one person who can be, he is on LinkedIn and Facebook, but when he's entering in Facebook, he's not looking for setting up professional connections, or he's not interested in doing a professional work. So you're looking at a person to set up do this. You might also look at the LinkedIn. Now, in the case of Pinterest, for example, here is you make an advertisement. There is other sites where you don't sell. You just present your ideas and proof of authorities, trying to show that you can be the leader in that or can help others. Where then you invite them to other side. Each one has its own strategy, and you need to understand what's their strategy and how you can utilize them. Now, also with this wisdom of crowd or crowd setting, we know that a large number of people can make a better decision about the topics and product than a single person. So also we can derive information from a group, and it's easy to track what do they like and what do they don't like. We also can help in the prediction market, like a peer-to-peer bidding market on a specific outcome, like election. So you can, see usually called electrical surveys. We find that the election who's going to win, that election. You can find out from the sales figures, design for a new product. These are all information you can derive it from the social networking and the wisdom of the. So you don't have to utilize these tools to really sell, but you can derive lots of information from them to set up your product in a way can be very useful for you. In the e-commerce, you also use the long tail marketing, which is, you keep sending information to certain person until you set him up to deliver the sales. And so step by step, you get him more knowledge, more information, and they might targeting behavioral targeting. So on a certain way of they target these kind of behaviors also. Um, but overall, the marketing format, revenue, using the search engine optimization or search engine, there is a display ads. That's how they generate their money. They could be, video, a classified, rich media, email, sponsorship. These how they are online marketing. They generate their money overall from the uh, and these are in billions, by the way. So okay, so here the issues comes in. Probably we need to know what's the features of a social commerce. Um, the social commerce features is like a social sign-in. I'm not going to read the description because you can read it. It's and get these notes. The social sign-on, collaboration, shopping, networking, notifications, and social search recommendations. Collaborative shopping, usually creating an environment where consumer can share their shopping experience with each other. That we call collaborating. Another, reference word or word of mouth, but electronically. In the B2B e-commerce, which is the new efficient and the relationship, electronic data interchange, and it's basically we're talking about connecting the supplier of one organization to them. So there is a connections and transparencies when a consumer order from this person, from this company, the suppliers is aware of that things and can supply them. And you are connected to your consumers and you're connected to your suppliers. That's the electronic data interchange. There's a private industry network, private exchange happening between them. There could be the net marketplace or the exchange there. So the new efficiencies are relationships like what you call the electronic data interchange, the private industrial network, the net marketplace, and the exchange. Now, in the case of electronic data interchange, we said that there is a supplier system and there is a firm system or the seller, and basically there is a shipping data exchange between them, the payment data exchange when suppliers is supplying when this paying, and I think we spoke about the e-commerce for the telco how this happens, and we also where there is a production inventory requirement also exchange, and this keep on on the spot, updating between the supplier systems and the seller or the firm system. Um, so the firm is kind of, in a way, has a plenty of suppliers, let's assume, and also might have the distributors or consumers. And this firm is kind of like the middleman, the middle person connected to many suppliers, and it is has distributors. Also, you can look at it in the field of car manufacturing, like Ford and the BMW. They are different. They have suppliers who supply them steels, plastic tires, or whatever, and they are connected to BMW manufacturing. And the manufacturing BMW is connected to the distributors worldwide for them. So that's another way of looking at a private industry network. And you have a net marketplace. And one of the net marketplace is connecting the suppliers and the buyers in the B2B case. You have it just like you see in Tijari.com, and then the reasons a very early company who was involved in that. It's made of catalog, sourcing, automated purchasing, and processing and fulfillment. This is connect the suppliers and the buyers in one hub, and they utilize their own softwares and services that they provide for the both sides. So now, what we have moved recently to the mobile digital platform and a mobile e-commerce, a concept that I came with it a few years ago, a mobile education, and we did implement this kind of concept in Iraq, an education that moves with you, not on the mobile, it moves with you. So that we called it mobile education, a combination of softwares that we had made in India and the hardwares that we brought from LG, Korea, and we put it together and we offered a mobile education. The mobile digital platform and the mobile e-commerce, which is called m-commerce, and one global is a MVAS. It is another m-commerce, mobile commerce, because it's called MVAS, mobile value added services. M-commerce service and application is location-based services, is usually locate you. If you're in Kuwait, is different than you are in Canada and then you are in state. It's also mostly very effective in the banking and financial service. It works on the wireless advertising and retailing, games, entertainment. It's involved in these fields also. So I'm not going to go through this. I hope you can go through these notes and read them, the business objective, the system functionality, and the requirement information. So display the goods, the business objective, system functionality, you need the digital catalog, and the information dynamic text and a graphic catalog. It tells you each one of them how it needs. For example, if your business objective is coordinating marketing and advertisement, you need an ad server, you need an email server, you need an email campaign manager, you need a banner manager, and the information requirements is like a site behavior log of prospects and customers, how they're reacting to these customer link to the email and the banner campaign. I'll look at them, each one of them, and see if you have any question and we can answer it for you. Um, Building the website. Most of the company now thinking of building their website and will establish, but how they want to build the website, here's another challenge: is the whether they want to do an in-house or versus outsourcing. The development decision need to take into consideration in-house or outsourcing, who is the hosting, where supposed to host it, and website budget, because there is a budget need to spend after the development of website, because the website always has to be in a improvement. Now, to do that, you need to look at the building the site. Am I building it in the house or I'm outsourcing it? And in case of the house building, host inside or hosted outside. These are the things that you need into consideration. But to make a decision between all of these, you have to take into consideration the next slide is the cost of hardware, the marketing itself, the design, how much it costs you. Now, if you're planning to put lots of effort on the marketing directly, then you need to find out how you find the outsource your hardwares, the telecommunication, the hosting. These are all have you to take into consideration before you're building the website. And these are the average how you spend. But sometimes if you need to spend more on design, then you need probably to cut down a little bit on the marketing or the content. These are usually set up your roughly the percentage of the budget that you have. So here, when we're going to talk about the e-commerce, e-business, and e-government. These are three type. It could be B2B, as we said, or B2C. And we spoke about the Tijari. The reason I started talking about Tijari because it was one of the reason made a big jump in the lifestyle and in the wealth of Dubai. It's established since year 2000, and at that time, 16 years ago, by Mohammed Al Maktoum as a part of the e-government. He sat with all the ministers and he said, listen, you have 6 months to go on tijari.com or show me your resignation. I will accept it. So within 6 months, they had to go on Tijari. All their purchase was done through Tijari. All the suppliers in Dubai are now members of Tijari because there were some suppliers who can provide a better or a cheaper product, but they couldn't have access to these big ministries. And, now all of them they can have by paying you $50 a month access to this bidding. Expert in e-marketplace technology, the Tijari itself, e-commerce laws, and the practice of the e-procurement consultancy services locally, regionally, internationally is now connected to India, to UK, to US. So even it's a borderless. One of the things that Dubai and UAE seeking to making their life better is because they're seeking borderless. They're trying to be borderless country. The vision is to enable companies to realize the dramatic cost saving, greater efficiencies, and extended consumer reach, which is facilitated by online procurement through the Tijari. They have a very simple approach. They ask all these ministries to purchase on Tijari. Now, they also enforce that none of the ministries should purchase things directly unless through Tijari. Now, all the suppliers had to go to Tijari to be a member of Tijari. They did not ask the ministers to pay. They asked the suppliers to pay $50 per supplier yearly, which is nothing for him. To have access to all the bidding, RFID, RFPs, RFQs. And this is when they started the e-government seriously. Jabal Ali and Tijari, they were the two legs who moved Dubai from one of the poorest cities in the world to the richest cities in the world. Now, Tijari is an e-procurement solution and B2B marketplace. I worked with them for 2 years that allows the companies and organization to automate their procurement and buy, sell their product online. Through Tijari, company can find, compare, and procure products and services from the familiarity and convenience of their desktop. They don't have to go on the internet. That's B2B all about and B2C. It is enable the company to realize, we said, saving greater efficiencies and consumer richness. Now, what's the product is all about is they use Microsoft as a front end disk, .NET, and they use the back end, the e-procurement of Oracle, and they use 11i technology infrastructure application. And it's about online requisitions, approval of workflow, and ordering and receiving. So it's and also they have online auction. So sometimes you want to buy something and the sellers comes and bid on the prices on the same time. So if seller sells you bid $10, it opens again automatically for 2 3 hours for another supplier to bid lower. So it's good for ministries to get the lowest price possible with the same qualification. So there is an online auction, tenders also. You can find the RFI and RFQ without worrying because it gets published. You can have all your documentation attachment, and you can do some kind of auto comparison. If you're buying straight, you can compare all the products on a one spot, and they have the analysis tool. And also there is a messaging. Add to that, there is approval process within the application. So if you don't have a buying application, if you're a buyer, or you don't have a selling side, you can utilize this application. And if you do, all you have to do is they will come and integrate these together from this side and that side for you. So there is an easy integration with existing system, available 24 hours, 7 days a week, and localized Arabites using, and it has an e-catalog, so you can look at the products. Everything that you see now, that was done year 2000, by the way. The advantage, if you are a buyer, you have a very, or you are a seller, you have a very low startup cost, which is $50 a month, I think. $50 a month, not a year. And there is no investment. You're not investing on a hardware, networking, and servers. You don't need to buy a software or implementation. They do it cloud in that time. Remote access, there is a data maintenance. They always make sure their system is up, good data and backup and management by Oracle. And they are also available local present, so for further support. So they're located in Dubai, located in Kuwait. I was looking for their operation in Iraq. So they are located locally. Benefit is reducing procurement cycles, saving the time and money. Automation, there is centralization, requestion. There is a full transparency is very important in the government. Improve management information. There's another thing important. Higher market reach. They can, buy while they're in Dubai, buying from India and vice versa. Uh, Big competition, allowing everybody can compete. Opportunity for the suppliers, new opportunities. And there is reports, intelligent reports application, and streamlining an efficient process, removing non-value adding activities like somebody has to stamp on the paper, for example, and then you go to Someone else has to sign it, and all these headaches go to Windows 6 and 5 and 4 to do all and buy a stamp. And these are nothing, they're all done electronically. So it's basically the benefit of a strategic solution offered by Tijari is what they did, cost of good and service, saving up to 20% are common, 15 cost saving of medical sectors. So that's what they did, but really reduce the cost of good and services. A process became more efficient. A process cost can be reduced as much as 40 to 50%. Service improvement, cycle time reduction of 50 to 70% have been achieved sometimes. 50% of cycle to purchase something because you are can use their application internally also. Visibilities of a speed analysis, better monitoring. You can see the monitoring. You have good control. You can see the price. You can compliance of contractual. They also had ready-made contracts for different sector industries. You can download it and adjust it and sign it between supplier and buyer also if you choose to. But it's available about this is how it's done. Is basically the senior manager is looking at management and they utilize the technology of Tijari, and the purchasing manager start putting RFQ or RFQ or looking at the e-catalog, and then the process is very clear in its the flow. It goes way to the accounting once it's be approved by this gentle management and get paid or rejected, and the cycle keeps going on with the, for example, e-catalog or RFP, and everybody is aware of it. So the management and account department monitor the purchase order active. There is another way of doing it is how does fixed price agreement and online catalog works in Tijaris is basically you go on the catalog side, you specify what you're looking for, search, and then once you find it, you try to compare what's available as a suppliers, and you start looking at the prices, select the lowest price, and so if you're interested in the another product, you can contact another product to compete with that price. So it's kind of a cycle analysis to get the approval. And once you get approval, you can buy things on a catalog. Is like what we do now. It used to be done 20 something years. Not going to talk about RFQ and RFP and RFI. They have a depository out of these also can help anybody who's buying in that sector to build their RFP. To build your RFP, an average of $50,000 to $60,000. They have it available for free to use once you are from the buying community to build the RFPs. And the process is whether you're requesting for RFQ, RFP, or RFI, these are available for them in the market. And as we said, it's the system. If you have your own system, you can integrate it easily with them, and they are in charge of integrating, will help you, advise you to integrate. If you cannot, they will do it for you. If you're a buyer, you when you have your own system, they can integrate it. But if you're a seller, you can go straight and use their system directly. So that's the end of the e-commerce. We spoke about the digital market and the digital goods. Hopefully next class we can talk about the OG money, which is MBAS in the next class. Thank you very much.